welcome to reading. Currently, Trisha and I, for Power Up, are going to talk about what we are reading. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, Amy Cassandra Martinez, what's going off with reading stuff? What's the news?
Okay, this one's a pretty big deal. So Marvel's giving away free comics in a way. So Marvel Unlimited, which is a digital comic subscription service, is now offering all fans free access to some of Marvel's most iconic stories. So we're talking Avengers, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Captain Marvel, pretty much everything. So starting yesterday, Thursday, April 2nd, until Monday, May 4th, that's when you have access to it. So you just go to Marvel Unlimited's free comics. You just download that app or update it if you already have it. Then you go to free comics on the landing screen and there's no payment. So that's just a win-win for everyone, I think.
How many comics are available?
A crap ton.
A lot. A lot.
A legit crap ton.
Yes, that's actually what it said when they released the information.
I tell you what, I have had Comixology. I've had some comics. I tried to get into graphic novels. I haven't made a secret of the fact that I prefer to read a book than read a comic because I have such a vivid imagination that I want a whole lot of words that I can figure out instead of a whole lot of pretty pictures with a few words to kind of tell the story. I want everyone to know in the chat though, and in the comments, what do you prefer? Do you prefer reading? Do you prefer comics? Why do you love comics? Why do you love reading? Let your love be known. But yeah, there you go. Trish, are you going to be reading those free comics, do you think?
I would love to if I had time.
Yeah.
I think this is really great for everyone who is self-isolating right now and has kind of burned through their Netflix binge list and maybe we're waiting for some of the video games to come out that are now delayed, etc., and are looking for something new to get into. This is a really smart move on Marvel's part to make this kind of thing happen and just expose people to comics that might not otherwise be exposed to it. So, Amy, thank you for this news. I didn't know this. I didn't see that this was even happening, which is awesome. I probably will not personally be able to take advantage of this only because my free time is practically non-existent right now thanks to daycares being closed and the inability to have someone come over and watch your kid while you're also supposed to be working an 8-hour day and producing videos and stuff. So I'm like at the point now where my eyes are rolling back in my head and I'm drowning in a glass of wine every night. That's just some real talk about what self-isolation is when you have a toddler and you also run your own company. Like anyone out there that has 2 working parents and 1 or multiple children, hats off, because I don't even know how everyone is going to be coherent by the end of this. So unfortunately, probably no Marvel comics for me. But Maude, you don't think you'll be taking advantage of this just because that's kind of not where you like to spend your free time?
I have actually been going into my archives of series that I really, really like. I just have to reference that Anthony Carboni is currently watching in the chat, and he said, just sell the kid. It solves so many problems.
Anthony, hi. I would ask Anthony to come over and help watch my child, but I'm not allowed to do that right now. Social distancing.
That's it. I think that it's just so weird again. And I wonder if anyone else is experiencing this. Let me know in the comments as well. I want to go back to familiar things that I know I'll love, but it's been long enough that I've kind of forgotten it because I want to put time into things that I know are going to be rewarding and fulfilling for me. So I'm going back through 2 different series that I'm listening to on Audible. One of them is Sarah J. Maas's series called Throne of Glass. It's got about 8 or so books in the series, from different perspectives, but it's a high fantasy book, which means it's set back in sort of like time where magic and fae exist. And I just know that it was a great escape the first time, but it's been 3 years since I've listened to it, so I'm going back again. And the narrator is really bearable, which is a rare thing these days. And the series that I can't stop recommending is one called Dresden Files. There's about 18 books in that season, that series, sorry. But the narrator for this one is James.
Wait, I'm sorry. The what for this one?
Dresden Files.
The narrator?
The narrator who reads the book on Audible.
For anyone who can't understand Australian dialects, that's the narrator.
The narrator.
Sorry for the podcast, folks. I just needed to point that out.
Because you can't get subtitles with me. The narrator is James Masters, who is Spike from Buffy. And he has ruined other books for me and everyone who's in Geek Bomb. We've covered this quite a bit in book club, which we do every single month, because we've done the first 2 books in the series, because I won't stop raving about it, and because Thierry is on his 3rd listen all the way through. It took him about 6 months. But he's so good. A narrator that reads the words is like putting someone to sleep. But if you are telling the story and sharing the words, what a game changer. This book series is fantastic. So if you're going on your morning walks, when you're back driving again, best time to listen to Audible. The series follows a adult wizard named Harry. Nothing to do with Hogwarts, of course, but it's more of a supernatural noir, where you follow him and he solves a lot of crime, but in a really cool sense, with vampires and werewolves. And trust me, bombers in the chat go off, because everyone knows how rad this series is, and we've only gone into the first 2 books and it only gets better from there. So they're my recommendations. Trisha, what you got?
What have I been reading lately? And honestly, I was reading this also via Audible while I was stuck in traffic, because as I just explained, downtime is limited, but I do still have to drive places sometimes. So I have been listening to The Last Wish, which is the first of the Witcher prequel books. And if you're going to get into it, I highly recommend it. I find it fascinating. And when I knew that the Netflix Witcher series was coming, I had already played the Witcher games, but no one had seen the series yet. So I was like, oh man, I want to read the books before the series comes out, because I know a lot of people like to watch the series without having the books in their mind, because some people think that when it's translated to screen that it loses something and they'll be disappointed in it, whereas if they see the television or on-screen version first and then read the books, then it's like good the first time and even better when you read the books. But I don't feel like that. I like to be the person that has all the background knowledge going into the show so that I can fill in the gaps for my friends that haven't read the books that have questions. So I jumped on The Last Wish, and what you should know if you're going to get into it is that it is a bunch of short stories. So if you're expecting one very long narrative, that's not what this is, but it's short stories to help both in world building and letting you know who the major characters are in the Witcher series. So like I said, I think it's narrated super well, and I highly, highly recommend it.
Stop. It was narrated pretty... Okay, so bombers are going to go off mainly because we have covered this in book club. I think I might be lagging a little bit, so my bad for that one. The narrator was shocking. He would... can I do my impersonation of it?
Oh, this is the narrator you hated, right?
Yes! It wrecked the book for me. I tuned out so much because he'd be like... And then Geralt would go across the road, and then when he would go across the road, he would also cast a spell. And once he casted the spell, and he was like, maybe I won't do it. And you're like... What is happening? Just read the line. Yeah, I wish I could have enjoyed this more. I loved the video games, which made me love the series. I was a little bit lost in the series, but the book helped me understand the series more. And of course, both of those properties helped me understand the book more. Didn't like the book. Hated the audio.
I actually, and here's where I'm going to disagree with you. And you and I have actually talked about this before outside of this show. But I thought the narrator did the best Geralt voice I have ever heard.
And we did agree on that. I just wish he did the Geralt voice the whole time. His Geralt was perfect. That kind of gravelly,
yes, his Geralt is perfect. And so I'm really into it. I can excuse his everybody else. It doesn't bother me. I love his Geralt voice. And I am currently finishing, or maybe just recently finished, I can't remember, the second book after The Last Wish.
Oh, really? You kept going. That's brave.
I like it. I you say that because and I see a bunch of the bombers in chat are like, yeah, it was trash. But I personally really enjoyed it. And I also really enjoyed the second book. And I recommended them to my husband, who is also really enjoying it. So at least there's two people in the universe that think those books are good.
Honestly, a narrator or a narrator can make or break a book these days. I do want to quickly reference the fact that Officer Dibble has suggested Red Rising trilogy by Pierce Brown. I've got it on Audible. I just think that the narrator on that one is not so great. Yeah, honestly, I actually think at this stage I need to get back into reading now that I'm not actually out as much or in my car as much, because I need to have it in my voice again so that I can take it at my own pace and not have someone else rec a book for me, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to figure out if I can still hear you. Okay, good.
Hey.
Hey, yo.
I hope so. If people are massive book lovers, though, I just want to take a second to talk about Geek Bomb's book club. We do it once a month. We recommend a book that everyone reads, and we have a Discord where we chat about that book the entire time. We do fan castings on who we would like to see play the characters. I get friends in on as well. We all drink wine. We talk about the book. It's my favorite. I don't feel like enough people talk about books.
So that with Rachel and Hector, right?
That's it. We did it Wednesday this week. It went so well, and we had the Discord actually ask questions. I had this set up so it's like they could talk and ask us questions in the stream. It was our first one, but if you want to catch out that, it is on Geek Bomb's YouTube as well. But I'm excited to see where we can take book club because, yeah, I'm always going to be such an advocate for books. If I'm reading this much, then I may as well talk about it, right?
Maude, you produce so much content between the stuff that you're doing for other brands and the stuff that you do on Geek Bomb. It's absolutely amazing.
Hey, back at you, babes. And I'm not raising a kid. I'm just making a dog look cute, you know?
Oh, and it is quite a cute dog. But yeah, I love that you're getting a chance to read all this stuff and that you're recommending all of this stuff. And book club looks awesome. I haven't had a chance to tune in yet, but I know that you're doing it because I see it all over your social media. It's super, super awesome. And lots of people in chat right now throwing out Starman 2814 says Black Sad. Officer Dibble says Red Queen is another good trilogy too by Victoria Aveyard.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I love reading female authors as well. Like, yeah, all those recommendations, tweet them at me, pop them in the Discord because we're pinning recommendations in the reading section on Geek Bomb's Discord, which you can get involved in through the Patreon. But yeah, let's build the community. This is a lot of fun. Look at me. I get all buzzed when I talk about reading.
I get it. I wish I had more time for reading right now. I'm very lucky that I have kind of a previous backlog of having downed a bunch of books before I got into the situation where I'm in now where I don't have as much time for reading.
PB, pre-baby.
Wait, what?
I have a tattoo PB. It obviously stands for pre-baby.
It stands for pre-baby?
Nah, it stands for Papa Bear or Peach and Bowser, depends on what day it is, or peanut butter.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that, Maude.
Well, there you go. Hey, you're learning something about me.
I am learning something about you. Seriously, thank you so much to everybody who has tuned in so far. We have the people who've watched us here live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Trisha Hershberger. Thank you guys for being here and joining in the chat. It's really this conversation with the community that helps fuel the conversation that we're having and makes us all feel a little bit more connected in this crazy, crazy world that we're in right now. So thank you.
So if you're loving what you're seeing with this one, make sure you are subscribed to YouTube, the Geek Bomb Show. But if you're watching on the YouTube channel, head over to Trisha's Twitch page as well and follow that and sub it if you want to watch live and get your questions in. A lot of ways to watch, listen, and consume this as well. So follow all of it so you don't miss out on anything. Woo, that's reading done.
Yes.